We are back, baby. We're at the world famous SEMA Show in Las Vegas, Nevada, documenting every single Ford Bronco build at the show. And this year is not a disappointment at all. There are some incredible builds. I can't wait to showcase them. Let me know what your favorite build is in the comments as we go. But without further ado, let's go see these Broncos. Behind me is the Camber Magna FL Bronco. This thing has some heavy duty KMC beadlocks, BFG sitting at 37s. You got the Camber upper control arms, Fox shocks, a super awesome wrap, powered with an Optima battery, rigid lights from head to toe, a GFC camper, and I like the side steps that pop down. Overall, you know, they always do good stuff, and a little skosh unlocking kit right there, which is pretty sweet. Awesome Bronco by Magna FL and Camber. Behind me is the Armadillo Designs Bronco with a really cool topography design on the wrap. We got the ADD off-road front bumper with the Baja Designs amber lights. We got Baja Design pod lights right here. The fender flares looks like Fiberworks. I'm not sure, TIS off-road wheels, Camber upper control arms, King shocks, and I really like this storage system right here. This pops up, the whole thing opens up, allows you access instead of the side wheel, or the side window. That is super rad. You got a spare tire delete, and then Baja forged rear bumper. Kind of interesting going ADD on the front, Baja forged on the back, but we love the folks over at Baja Forge. They do really good work. I really like the design of the wrap. Really cool Bronco build. How would you like a old new Bronco? Does that make sense? Behind me is a 1975 Ford Bronco. Alchemy is now creating these from the floor up, keeping the VIN number, and that's about it. Everything else on this Super Bronco is insane. You got the 7.3 liter Mozilla engine powerhouse on this thing. And I know what you're thinking, that's way too much power for a Bronco. Those things are so squirrely, which is why they increased the wheelbase as the same wheelbase as a Ford F-150. You have a ton of travel on this thing. The interior is insane. And they're making these things from the ground up. You can see right here, the VIN is the original VIN on the Bronco, but everything else is brand new. This thing drives like a dream. Some of the Coyote older Broncos are just, it's too much power. It's terrifying to drive. This thing with the wider wheelbase apparently is just absolutely fantastic. Check them out, Alchemy. They're producing these things in 2025. They'll start delivering them. Pretty rad. This is the Olympia Beer Bronco with Caleb Stricker and Kirk Stricker, I believe, own this thing. We got some BFGs on the side. You got some turn off-road upper control arms that looks like billet aluminum with Bilstein shocks. It looks like a long travel kit. What I really like is the ADV fiberglass kit on the hood and the sides. That just turns this regular Bronco into an awesome Bronco. I like the KC highlights from head to toe. These side steps are pretty cool. Someone's got to help me out with this logo. I don't know what it is. It's the same thing on the front bumper too, but overall really clean two-door Bronco with a little rack in the back, some jerry cans, everything you need for a good time. Maybe a 6-pack of beers too. Who wants a mustache ride in this 1970 Ford Bronco restored to perfection? Got a little mustache there, just for funsies. I can't say that I'm in love with the color. However, one thing I always look for, especially in the old Broncos, how well are your lines lined up? Because these things are old farm trucks. If you do a shoddy job on the body lines and the bodywork, you could tell right away it won't come together. These things were made for the farm. They were really built to be like everyday work vehicles. But this one is really cool. Keisha Lynn on Instagram, you got some cool mud tires on there. Awesome, pretty build for those who like stuff like this. It wouldn't be a Bronco video without Von Gittin Jr.'s Bronco RTR vehicle here. This thing is pretty rad. It was actually on us with the rally from Peterson Museum out to SEMA and is pretty rad. What's cool about this, for 20 grand all in over the base price, you could get all of these bells and whistles. From the grill, the light bars, the floor liners, all of the different branding and cool things. Obviously, Von Gittin Jr. and the RTR team know what they're doing when it comes to Broncos, and this thing, if you want a turnkey solution to upgrade your Bronco, is a really rad concept, the Rover. We're in the best top booth with a cool little Bronco here. I like this Fab Fours front bumper. Is super heavy duty, still has those sensors in there, and you can integrate a Warren winch. In the back, if you guys like soft tops, this is a really cool solution that this whole thing pops up really quickly, bolts down, and now you don't have to take your roof off every time you want to go cruising. You can just put it down. If it rains, you pop it back up. Got some PRP seat covers, or it looks like actual seats in there. And then for wheels, Raceline wheels, those look like beadlocks, and then some awesome tubular side steps / rock sliders right there, which has a little bit of extra gripping, which is nice. This is Broncbuster's Bronco, a cool little two-door with portal axles on it. Again, the biggest benefit is the amount of clearance that you get with portal axles, so you don't have to re-gear. You could just do that. You got the Broncbuster steering reinforcement right here. It looks like we got some just forward shocks on there. I don't know what fenders they are, but it looks like they're carbon fiber, Rockslide Engineering side steps, and then the Tebus beadlock tires with 40-inch, Tebus beadlock wheels with 40-inch Milestar tires is a pretty good combo, especially on a two-door. This thing could definitely hit the trail. And if you follow Broncbuster at all, you know he tries to break his rig so then he can find the weakest point and then fix it and make a cool product. So Broncbuster's two-door Bronco. Behind me is Post Malone's Bronco, a collaboration with Camber and Magna FL. We got a really cool Icon Vehicle Dynamics front bumper here. Camber upper and lower control arms with a long travel front suspension, 2.5 bump stop, and of course the Magna FL catback exhaust, but that's not all. Some KMC beadlocks, some BFGs 37 inches on their Fox shocks, Rockslide Engineering side steps, a little multicam camo pattern on that wrap. I wish I could see it. Maybe I'll leave Post Malone a little note, tell him to call me, because he's a cool dude. He's a cool dude and an awesome Bronco. Didn't know he was a Bronco guy. We got a decent Bronco build that we've seen before in the past. The best thing about this entire rig is the Baja Kit suspension setup with the King shocks. Baja Kits was acquired by Fox a couple years ago, but you'll still see these running occasionally with the King shocks. You have Raceline wheels right here in bronze, the Fiberworks fiberglass fenders, which I'm not a huge fan. I really like the ADV better. I think it looks a little bit cleaner. They have new versions of the fenders now for the Bronco. I'm not sure what bumper this is, but Z-Roads off-road lighting, a nice little light bar up top, and overall really cool Bronco. I like the color that they painted this thing. It looks really nice. Check out this PreRunner Bronco that is nuts. The Bronco Raptor, but heavily modified with a Roush carbon Roush engine, carbon trims, carbon fiber all around everywhere. This thing, I guarantee you, absolutely bangs the trails up. You got Fun Haver / RTR combined on this build. In the back, you got the full-size spare tire, some wing flaps just for additional speed and aerodynamics, because when you're going 100 miles an hour on a dirt road, that's what you need. Rad flow suspension and saline upper control arms. We got a monster Ford Bronco Raptor behind me with this really sleek Mayhem bumper. It looks like we have some Motley LED lights on there. The suspension on this is pretty wild. All billet upper control arms. Looks like we got Fox shocks on there. And then the side steps, I'm not sure what these are, but they look pretty clean. And then in the back, you got the Diabolical Ink full storage solution, so if you need to access your tools and whatnot, it's all right there. One thing I like about it, you also have the full-size spare and the rear door delete, which if you're ripping this thing like it should in the desert, you could definitely want a spare tire, but trying to fit 40s on the back is not ideal. This is a really cool build, nice chase light. This is the Desert Runner true and true. Got a super clean Bronco build on this. This is the RPG front bumper. I like the color matching. And then you got Vulcan tires, of course, with some Hostile beadlock wheels, Anderson composite carbon fiber front hood, and the interior is really where this thing shines. Look at this Alea leather interior diamond stitching, really, really beautiful. I like this little cover that they put on the RCE board steps, and then continuing in the back, nice graphics on there. The Warrior, got the RC exhaust. This thing is really clean, and just for good measure, a couple kicker wakeboard speakers in the back, so you could have some fun down at the lake. We got a Max Lighter Ford Bronco Raptor here that is, you know, Max Lighter has been doing Broncos forever, and this is just the epitome of what they build. Paint match fenders here. You got the stock side steps, Max Lighter wheels that it looks like they could be true bead locks. I'm not 100% sure. The interior is really where this thing shines. Look at this brown leather diamond stitched interior. A ton of custom work on a really cool Bronco Raptor build. Max Lighter. We got a Badlands Bronco here with a really cool DV8 off-road front bumper. You could put a light bar right here if you wanted to. Also, I like bumpers that color match the paint, where something like this, you could take it off and color match it. But what I really like is the Trail Racks rack system that has a little panel right here for some max tracks, and it can light your, mount your lights. You got the Yakima tent up top, and in the back, a full-size spare tire. This is a Kuwait spare tire carrier. It looks like it's plugged right into the tow hitch right there. So that is cool if you don't always want to carry around a spare tire and you're taking it off-roading and you throw it on. I really like that solution. We got a Crown Off-Road Bronco here with some really sweet fenders. These are the APG carbon fiber fenders. I love how they really match the body line of the Bronco. Alpha Rex front headlights. The bumper looks like, I don't think that's stock, that might be a stock bumper, but with some heavy duty shackles here, MHI shackles, those are pretty rad. You have an adapt light bar by Rigid, so this adjusts based on how fast you're going, but I think the fenders are really the star on this Bronco. Behind me is a TIS Off-Road and Hercules Tires Bronco Wild Track with the Fiberworks bumpers. I like the paint job. It's not quite a banana yellow, it's almost like a mustard yellow, which is pretty cool. I love these Anderson composite doors on this thing. You got TAC side steps. That's going to protect your rig and allow you to get up and down with some TIS Off-Road wheels, DTS wheels and TIS Off-Road tires. You got King shocks on there, and the rest of it looks mostly stock, but I will say I really like the doors on this Anderson composite TIS Off-Road and Hercules Tires Bronco. All right, behind me we got a Bronco that we've actually filmed 2 or 3 times before, but these Anderson composite doors on the two-door is super rad. I like the carbon fiber accents on these fenders. You got Mickey Thompson Baja Boss 37s with the Mickey Thompson wheels right there. BDS upper control arms, Fox shocks, overall stock on the inside, but just a really clean build that I think anyone would love to enjoy. Casey highlights just for some flavor, and an OEM snorkel on there, which when you don't have doors on your rig, but you have a snorkel, kind of an oxymoron, but I guess it protects from dust. Behind me, we got a really clean custom Bronco with a Coyote 5.0 engine underneath the hood. You got Warren locking front axles, Bilstein shocks. The interior's diamond stitched leather interior with AMP Research side steps. In the back, I like the custom work. You got Restomod's air on it. Curry 1-ton axles. It is. We're in front of the top off-road performance wild track Bronco here. This ADD off-road bumper absolutely matches the body of this thing with some integrated Baja Designs fog lights. You got a super winch and then the Oracle front headlights, which I'm hit or miss on Oracle. I think these are pretty cool. On the side, you got the Mayhem wheels in a bronze. The suspension looks relatively stock, but up top, we got a Rover rooftop tent. This thing's heavy duty, hard shell tent. A Widowada, another Widowada, in order to get up there. You gotta also use that. On the back, look at this mountain bike setup. Not only do you have the 360-degree awning, but the Kuwait mountain bike setup plugs right into the tow hitch, and you still have your spare tire. Cool solution for you mountain biking enthusiasts. All right, we got a Quake LED Bronco on airbags here. It looks like it's a little cambered, a little warped. Not a fan of the deep dish wheels. Never have been, never will be. These aren't as bad, but yeah, give me some sidewall. I need some meat on this beast. You got the Quake LEDs all the way around, Rockside Engineering side steps. Overall, I think the airbags are the coolest thing on this rig. Bodyguard front bumper. We got a sweet Havoc off-road Bronco here. I love these tubular doors that If you like taking your doors off, this still keeps everything inside these side steps. All tubular design. You could jump up and over rocks with those things. You got some Husky mats underneath, which look pretty clean. I like the best top. That actually is the safari cut, so you could roll it back if you wanted to, just take the top off. And then in the back, we got the Havoc off-road rear bumper, the Havoc off-road spare tire carrier. If you guys are running anything bigger than 35s on the back of your Bronco, you need to reinforce the hinges because over time those will break. So this is a really complete build that looks pretty cool in my opinion. All right, we're in the Max Pro window films with a Bronco on here that is a really sweet Weston front bumper, heavy duty stainless steel. The skid plate goes all the way up on it. You got a super winch integrated, the Oracle front headlights with the RGB that changes color, which, you know, it's definitely a look that a lot of people like. We have 37-inch rough country tires on here, the Fury, and then suspension is pretty stock, but they're actually installing a PPF on this all week here at the show. We got the Traverse, looks like 360-degree awning, and the Owleys pop-up rooftop tent. These are really cool because they pop straight up, give you a ton of space. The clamshells tend to cramp you on the end, but the full pop-ups are rad because it just gives you more real estate on the inside. All right, this is not a Bronco, it's an International Scout, but a really clean restoration. Underneath, you got a Vortec, looks like LS3 on there. You got the Warren front locking axles, the Vision wheels on it. Suspension, I'm not quite sure, but the interior, I really love little details like this, where you have like the flannel insert on the leather seats. I like Scouts personally a lot. I like the wheelbase, I like the look of them. The Bronco prices have gone so crazy that I feel like the International Scouts with the new ones coming out are almost might be a good buy if you can find one that's pretty well kept and good, maintained, good restored. Yes, that. Anyway. We're in the mile marker booth with a 5.0 Coyote engine Ford Bronco on here. This thing rips, I will tell you, after driving one in the past. Well, that's a lot of power for a Bronco. It gets a little squirrely. One thing that I thought was really cool, the integration of the Rockslide Engineering side steps. I like how there's a little bit of patina on the paint, and overall, I bet this thing is super fun to drive. You got some billet control arms right there. I'm not sure what it is, but overall, cool build. Love my classic Broncos. We're in the X-Cargo booth. This is a really cool storage solution that we filmed in the years past, and they continue to modify and make really awesome changes. This mounts to the pillar on your Bronco, and then you have some MOLLE panels on the inside. If you're someone who likes having everything neatly tucked away, really high quality material, X-Cargo for your Jeep and Bronco storage needs. Got a pretty clean Steelcraft Bronco here. I really like this front bumper. You got light bars protected with a little mesh lining right there. Integrated sensors with some additional fog lights on the bottom. And then the side steps look like they're not activated right there, but they come up. I like this wrap, really clean design. The Outer Banks edition of the Tundra, and then we got Dirt Life wheels on there, and then looks like some rough country upper control arms. And in the back, Steelcraft rear bumpers, and that's about it. I like the bumpers are clean. We got the Diabolical Ink two-door Bronco right here. I like these fenders that are just very simple and clean, way better than the plastic. Cool little 300-pound side step that mounts to your tire, and in the back you have the full drawer system. What's cool about this whole thing slides in, have all your recovery gear in one place, and still have a platform to store stuff on. They also have this one right here that has a fully enclosed mechanism. So if you look in the back, this slides out, but you also have a platform right here that you could store stuff on, and if you want it fully locked up in a way, the door closes. There's a little door that locks right there. Everything's enclosed, so if you don't have the top on, it's all stored securely. Really cool system by Diabolical Ink.